Hello, in this video, I'm going to teach you how to use the author formula. Now, the author formula is an effective copywriting framework that you can use to develop short form or long form copy. You're always going to be writing copy in your business, whether it's for emails, landing pages, or social media content, or even talks and presentations. Learning a simple yet effective copywriting formula is the bread and butter to how you're going to attract the right kind of leads and also convert these leads with your content. So, in summary, the author formula is an acronym for attention. A is for attention, U is for understand, T is tension, H is help them, O is offer evidence, and R is response. So, now I'm just going to go through each of these words. So, starting with A, what we want to start with in our copy is getting their attention. You want to stop their scroll, or thumb stop is what they call it, in the midst of their endless scrolling. And the reason why you want to do this is because if you can grab the attention of the right person, then you're going to essentially hook them in to reading and engaging with your content piece. This could be done through a question, it could be a certain image or graphic that is quite engaging or relatable, or it could just be a simple phrase that causes them to ask themselves something that is really important to them. So there are many ways to do this, but your outcome with attention grabbing is essentially to grab their attention within the first 3 seconds. That's all you really have in terms of the window of grabbing someone's attention. So some of the ways that you can actually ask is things like, are your kids not listening to you? This is if you're let's say a parent or a parenting coach, sorry. You could ask them, is your relationship in a breakdown? This is something that's relatable to their problem. Do you feel lethargic at work all day? Are you confused about your life purpose? Is marketing confusing you? So these are some of the questions that you could ask that are sort of relatable, not just to the ideal client, but to the ideal client and their problem, the specific problem you help them with. Now, U is for understand. You need to understand where the client or the audience is coming from. They need to know that you get them, because if you don't, you're going to create a little bit of a gap of understanding, and therefore they're not going to resonate with your message or be interested in what you have to say. Because people don't actually care about how much you know until they know how much you care. And part of expressing that you care is showing that you really understand them. And this is where knowing your ideal client really, really helps you, to the language, to the feelings that they would feel, to the exact circumstances of their situation and their pain points, to the exact desires and feelings that they want to feel. So the kind of questions they're asking is, do you actually get me? Do you know where I'm coming from? Do you know what I'm trying to achieve? Do you know my problems? Do you know my hopes and dreams and my fears? So remember that there are lots of questions that your audience is unconsciously asking themselves as they are scrolling through your copy. So as long as you are able to provide some sort of understanding, whether it be through telling a story, or it could be through articulating and explaining what are the things that they're experiencing. So if they're experiencing being unable to lose weight, what are the exact feelings? Perhaps it's frustration. What is the exact scenarios that they're currently experiencing? Maybe they're waking up, looking at the mirror and pinching their skin, or looking at how their muffin top is going over their jeans, or maybe they're a parent and they're not sure how to take care of their kids or how to guide their kids, and their house is always in chaos. So maybe you can talk about how doors are always being slammed in the house, or there's constant yelling and talking back from the kids, and you are constantly feeling like you're not doing a good job as a parent, and it's frustrating, it's overwhelming, it's whatever it is. So really do the ideal client avatar exercises that I've provided you in other resources, and take the time to really show that you understand and articulate. The third one is T for tension. So this means we need to probe them or invite them into the tension, which really is about helping them to see where they currently are and where they want to be, and getting them to feel a little bit uncomfortable so that they move away from the pain and move towards a practical solution or pleasure, which is essentially getting help from you or buying your offering. So what we need to know about humans is that we will more likely, more often than not, seek to avoid pain rather than gaining pleasure. They are both strong motivators, but avoiding pain, will always motivate us to take more action. And so in human psychology, this is really, really, really important. Right. So when you are looking at marketing, when you're looking at effective ads and copywriting, what they all do really, really well is they motivate you away from the pain. Sorry. So they focus on amplifying the pain because they know that as humans, we want to avoid the pain. So why is it that ads for sponsoring or donating for charity work so much better if they're showing you an image of a child who is malnourished, or a mother whose baby has a dysfunction or disability? Why is it that that works so much more than if you show mothers who are happy with healthy kids, or kids who have clean uniforms and are in school? It works so much more effectively when they show you disheartening images because, again, that creates discomfort. Why is it that the news captivates us so easily? The news is always full of controversy, conflict, outrage, war. All these things are designed to keep us engaged by showing us pain because we are intrigued. We want to be alert and aware of the pain or the things that we need to avoid. So when something creates discomfort in us, it kind of heightens our senses and we kind of go, well, I need to avoid that. Therefore, I need to pay attention so that I don't find myself in that situation, or so that I don't have to experience that discomfort. So that's the psychology behind it. Last question to reflect on is, what does the product-based industry do so well to keep us buying the things that we don't even want or need? What it does well is it focuses on scarcity. It highlights what we lack, and it speaks to not just our physical needs or physical pains, but also our emotional and psychological pains. It probes on pains that we have internally, like not belonging, lacking convenience, lacking money. So it talks to these parts of us that are fearful, like we will be left out if we don't have that new designer bag, or if we don't have the new iPhone, we will not be trendy and cool, or if we don't buy this specific if we don't go to this specific place for lunch, then we're not able to be happy. Right. So they play on these layers of our humanness, which is on a psychological level as well as a physical level as well as emotional level. So pain is a really, really big motivator. And so if you are a dentist, for example, and you're only ever talking about how good it is to have clean teeth, but none of your marketing talks about tooth decay, how painful a root canal is or a gum infection is, and you don't emphasize that this is not just physical pain, but it's financially painful in that you're going to have to pay a lot later, or emotionally, you're doing your customers a disservice, and they're not able to actually identify or self-diagnose, which is what you want them to do in this section of building tension, to self-diagnose that they need it now. Because if I never talk to you about the consequence of changing your life and living a life that is actually in alignment to your truth, then you're never going to understand what that's costing you, and you're never going to want to make a change. So it is of the highest service to actually create tension in your copywriting and in your marketing material. And what a lot of us don't want to do is this, because it means that we have to seem like the bad guy. We have to feel that we are challenging them. But that is how you be an authority. That is how you invite people to rise up and do something that's going to change your life, especially if you are offering a service like coaching or mentoring. Number 4 is H for help them. So after we show that we understand, we catch their attention, we show we understand them, and then we build tension, we want to help them. Helping them is where we bring in our solution. It's where you talk about your expertise, your service, your product, your message, your process, your system. So we haven't necessarily talked about our product or service up until step 4. I want you to catch that, right? So most people will go in talking about your product right from the get-go. But again, this is not effective. And this is why helping them comes at step 4. A solution is only as important as the problem that precedes it. So people are not going to care about your solution or your offer or your product unless they see that they actually have the problem, which is why you need to show them you understand their problem. And unless you build the tension to show them that they need to make a change or else this is what's going to happen. And so from there, now you can help them. So some ways that you can help them is to show your expertise and observation, offer advice based on what you know about this problem and solution after working with clients, offer some sort of perspective reframe. So change how they are thinking about something, create some abrupt pattern interruptions in their mind by inviting them to see things differently, right? Like, for example, what if what you say you want is not actually what you want? What if your whole life you've been told to desire things that are not actually in alignment with what you are here to do and what you actually value? When was the last time you thought to ask yourself, what is it that I really truly want? Or are you in the hamster wheel of constantly chasing things that don't really matter to you, right? Notice how that is reframing, but it's also understanding, it's also challenging them. Okay. You could also help them by sharing a concept or framework, like your proven concept or framework. Perhaps you have a 3-step process to understand your life purpose, or perhaps you have a 5-part question journaling guide that you use to help yourself get back to center when you feel out of alignment. Perhaps it's a 4-part framework that you need your every single client to understand in order to effectively lose weight. So you want to share this concept and educate them about it. And you want to do this in a brief way as well, but still in a highly valuable way. You can also talk about resources that they will find valuable, ideally your own resources. So, for example, if you have a lead magnet or a YouTube video or a podcast, that's what you would refer them to, because then now that you've educated them on their problem, and now that you've told them something's going to happen if you don't make a change, what you want to do is offer value to help them realize, like, oh, there's help available for me through you. And it might be through reading this content piece, and it might also be go check out the YouTube video that I have where I give you even more value. And then obviously you would, in those content pieces as well, be doing call to actions, which we'll talk about in a second. The last thing you can do to help people is to offer some practical steps and tips. So for example, 5 steps to declutter your closet, right? How to lose weight in 30 days, or how to lose 2 kilos in 30 days, 3 kilos in 30 days, whatever. Alliteration is always really helpful in copywriting. 3 things to stop doing. 3 things to stop doing if you want to insert the desire, or 3 things to avoid. Remember, pain is a huge motivator. 3 things to avoid. So step 4, help them actually provide helpful information, not just like some airy fairy stuff, helpful information that even if they didn't buy from you, they would be like, wow, I should have paid for this information. Over deliver. And then step number 5, that gives you the right to now offer evidence. Now you just want to show them some proof that this process, this strategy, that your advice actually works and is validated. And as humans, we love to be shown evidence because it speaks to that rational, logical part of our brain that just wants to comprehend and understand. And so if I tell you, like, I lost, my client lost 20 kilos and she did that in 3 months, then you might find that fascinating, you might find that interesting. But if I just straight up showed you an image and said, this is my client, and that image had the 20 kilos overweight her, and then her current look, and then it had a text that said 3 months transformation, you would instantly know what I was talking about. You would instantly know that my work is effective and that my client gets results, or my clients get results. So showing the picture is so much more effective in terms of offering evidence. And if you don't have a picture of the actual person, maybe you can screenshot a testimonial from the client, or you can just have some sort of diagram or graphic or visual for the piece of advice or for the thing that you're talking about. You want to offer evidence that the advice that you gave them actually works so that they can trust your advice. And now the final part of this is to ask for a response. This is your call to action. This is what you want them to respond with to in relation to this content piece that they're consuming. So perhaps it's putting their name in an and their email address into a form, or perhaps it's clicking a link to book a call with you. And it might even be helpful to explain a little bit about why taking that step of action is going to help them. So if you put your details into this booking link and book a call with me this week, what you're going to get is 45-minute session where we're going to dive into 1, 2, 3, and you're going to walk away with a simple strategy to help you take back power over your life again. So see how like I didn't just add the call to action, but I also added the benefit of taking the action. That could also be a way that you reinforce taking that response. So you need to be very clear. You need to be decisive about the way that you say it. You need to make it simple as well. So don't make them jump through 50 hoops just to put their details down. Make sure you say it's easy as 3 simple steps. Click the link in my bio, click the first link, pop your name and email in, and you're good to go. Like that is how easy, simple, and direct the response gets to be. And that also encourages them to do it now. All right, that is the author formula. I hope that you found this training helpful and go ahead and use the resource that I provided as well to help you create your own copywriting author formula based content.